All right, good morning. Happy Wednesday. A couple things I wanted to talk about this morning were some like updates. If you saw the title on the graphic, some updates, and then some things about groups. But I really, because it's important to me to deliver stuff to the team that is useful to you, that can be something that helps you continuously grow, or something that you're like, that didn't work for me, absolutely sucked. I love to know that kind of stuff so that I can really dig deeper into how I can help you guys more. Because just I feel like social media is so much like Thrive. Like what it does for me is different than what it does for Shar, or different than what it does for Valerie or Kristen, right? And because we're all doing different things. Like Kristen, sometimes I'm like, how does she do a reel every morning at 5 a.m.? Like I'm not even there yet, right? But then I'm sure there's people like, how is Sydney live again? Like, how does she have something to even talk about? It's just a part of what we do, and we're all different. And that will create different results for all of us too, right? I found with my last promoter that I had signed up, she was like, um, oh, sorry, the cheerleader thing doesn't work for me. They always say I'm just a cheerleader. Oh, the script, Jojo. Okay. So, and then maybe change it up a little bit. And that's the type of stuff though that I want to know so that we can shift what's not working for you, right? It's like Eric Worre's plan, do, review. Don't always plan and do. Sometimes you've got to review and be like, that's not working. And sometimes too, one of the things I was reviewing for most of the people who show up on these Zooms, who actively say like, I want help and I want to do more. I was reviewing and I was like, okay, how can I get these people, this team, to do the things that I know that will work, but you have to trial and error them, right? And so I guess what I mean by that too is I, of course, we talk about it all the time, like going live. And I know it scares the ish out of some people. But when you consistently do it, so like my new promoter, when she went live after like 2 days, I thought I was gonna die because I was so happy. I was like, yay! And I was like tooting her horn. I'm like, great job, dude. There's people that it's taken years for them to even click that button. Um, and she was like, honestly, it was the scariest thing I've ever done in my whole life. I just want to go in a hole right now. She's like, I'm shaking, I stuttered. And I'm like, yeah, but you got over that hump of uncomfortable. And now it's like she wants to do it again because she got over that hump of uncomfortable. So I really want you today to look at your page. And when was the last time that you went live about anything? Yesterday too. And I know for some people, it's always like, well, what should I talk about? About what you know. About, first of all, you know what Thrive does for you. You're sitting in Messenger telling it to people, or you're telling it to people when they're asking you about it, or you're thinking like me, right? I know that this black label is going to change my mood. That's easily something that I could go and share on live. It doesn't always have to be this big built out content thing. And there's a reel, not to scroll out, but um, there's a reel and it's like, you guys have probably seen it. It's like, how did you get so good? It's practice. I'm like, but you're so good at it. And they're like, it's practice. I'm like, I never can do what you do. And they're like, if you just go practice, you can do what I do. And it's the same thing. It's going to get better with practice. You're going to get more comfortable talking about things. And so my challenge, because I don't want to forget to challenge you guys today, is to go Facebook Live this week, preferably this week, not before next week. Just opening up maybe a product that you get in the mail, maybe a new box, maybe your like my favorite things to do is to go on and pack trials. And I just sit there and I make the trial and I just talk as I'm doing it. And it doesn't have to be about like, anything crazy that's going to throw you off. You can just talk about what you're packing up. I'm packing up 4-day samples. What you get in here is 4 capsules, 2 mixes, and 4 patches. What do some of these things do? Detach your mind from who's on right now. Detach your mind from there's no one commenting. Majority of your like live success is going to be from when it's replayed after, from when it's rewatched after. And that's why too, I encourage people daily. So if you like, let's say Jess and I were talking about this yesterday. I used to go live like at 7 a.m. and get tons of people on, right? And so I was like, ooh, this is a sweet spot. This is working really well for me. And over time, I have learned that actually now the evening works better for me. You're only going to figure that out with trial and error, right? But so when I go live in the evening, let's say like 4 or 5, By 6 o'clock, I'm going back and I'm commenting to most of those comments that are commented on there. 7 o'clock, I'm checking again and commenting to people on there. I even go as far as if someone likes it and they don't comment, like if they love my live, I'll go in the comments and say, thanks, Rebecca, for showing love on my live. Bump up your own live. That's perfectly fine. But all the comments and stuff is just creating it showing up on more times on other people's stuff. And that's how you're going to get it to live longer. So that's my encouragement to you guys, is to get on there and talk more about what you do. I was hashtag joking, but not joking about that reel I made and sent it in the chat, because you have to talk about your business to have a business. You have to talk about your product to have a product. If you're sitting around thinking, well, a lot of people aren't asking me about what I do or what I have, when was the last time you talked about it? When was the last time you shared about it? Maybe they think like you're just talking about something you found at Target and they don't really care. Or maybe they just don't know. You know, I did this in my live yesterday. This girl messaged me and she was like, I felt my Mama Thrive Bear came out, because she was like, everybody who, and don't take this offensively, okay? Just some people are not educated enough in what we do. She's like, everybody I've talked to about Thrive is like not at the weight loss goals that I'm looking for. Like they're not fit, so I don't want to buy Thrive from them. And I was like, well, actually, Thrive is not a weight loss product. It can be if you want it to be, but it's designed to fill your nutritional gaps, help your body perform at a premium level. It's vitamins. We're not out here saying like, everybody's losing weight, right? Like, because some of us don't want to lose weight. And as soon as I said that, she's like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, yeah, that's why everyone can use the product. Zane has picture day, so he's leaving. Love you. Have a great day. Have a good picture. Make sure you smile. Love you too. So sometimes we have to continue to educate people on our social media, or they're going to be the ones going, you know what, I'm not reaching out to her because I'm not looking for fat loss. Or maybe they're thinking in their head, I am looking for fat loss, but she just keeps talking about like energy, and I don't need energy. I'm super energetic. Or I don't need focus. I'm already focused. Whatever it might be, right? But they're not going to know about that stuff unless we continuously talk about it. There are people that I follow on social media that go live like 3 times a day. They are still posting in between. They're not caring in between, because think about it. If you did that and one more person than what you have right now said, you know what, Rebecca, I'm ready. I want to try what you have, or I want to join you. I want to be a part of all of this. That would tickle your fancy, right? Like it would make me happy. It overflows my cup. That's why I do it every day. Because all it takes for me is one person to say like, ooh, I want it. I want to try it. I want to join. I want this. And then I'm like, okay, doing it again tomorrow. Because one person saw it. Because one person can turn into so much more than that too. There was a like quote, I can't remember who said it, but like, when you think about a prospect on social media or a friend on social media, we sometimes, and I'm just speaking vulnerable because I know in my network marketing mind, focus on them as a destination. Like, oh my God, Char's going to be my next 12K. I'm going to focus on her. When maybe, I don't know, did I just put that out there for you? When maybe that person is a destination. I mean, a doorway, not a destination. So maybe they're going to be the doorway to the next person, right? I think about like Rhonda as a perfect example. If I wouldn't have had the doorway to meet Rhonda and I focused on the destination, I would have never looked over and said, hey, Rhonda, how can I help you? What's going on? Invited her to our local, locked arms with her, right? She would have just probably disappeared. So some of the time we have to get out of the mindset that like, if something, and this is, I think the most important part is the consistency of it. Get out of the mindset that like, you're not having enough views or you're not having enough comments, and get into the mindset of, I'm just going to be consistent. I'm just going to be consistent. I don't know about you guys, but I feel so much better when I do something consistently versus anything else. Because to me, it's like a personal win. Like, you know what? And this is me too. Like if I'm like, when we have a 7-day live challenge, I remember one night I like laid in bed and it was like 8 o'clock and I hadn't gone live that day. And I was like, oh shit, jumped up, took my robe off, put a shirt on. I was like, gotta go live about something because I'm committed to being consistent. And I committed to doing this for 7 days. So commit to yourself, jump over that hoop. And I felt like, sorry, I got excited about that for a second. That wasn't supposed to go as long as I did, but I'm just really passionate about sharing what we have on social media and how we can get it. That's the quickest way we're going to get it to people. Like I was sharing with my new promoter and, you know, about how we do most things on social media. because I did a two-way call with a girl that I used to work out with. And she's like, I don't have a lot of friends. I have a small child, so I really can't go to a lot of places. And I'm like, that's perfect because I don't go anywhere. I've met most of the people that are in my business with me, probably 99.9% of them on the internet or through another person. So that's perfect. And I literally just told her, as long as you're coachable and consistent, I can help make this work for you. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about today too, when it comes to social media, there's a couple different updates. So if you guys have been seeing on Instagram, they're now, and my Instagram doesn't have it, but yours might. So when Instagram launches stuff, they launch it to like a small group of people first, and then they like see how it works, and then they go to more and more. But right now what they're doing is the highlights. So if you go to your page, and you might not have these, it's not a big deal, but you might want to get them after I tell you this. The highlights, so those little circles on the bottom where you can store stories. And so you can only have that if you consistently post your stories on Instagram. Like for me, if you go to mine, my first one is Start Here, and it's all like transformation photos of Thrive, transformation like Tuesday photos. And then I talk a little bit about happy packs, everything I've ever posted in my stories about Thrive, right? Well, what they're doing now is when you click those highlights, you can actually turn them into a reel. So they're launching that out to make it super easy for reel content. And then you could take, like I have one about Zane, travel, my dog, of course. But think about how easy you'll be able to turn a whole story thread into a reel and just add the music. I know Kristen will love that when it gets on her page because that's just perfect, right? So I was excited about that. I was excited to see that. Also, if you haven't seen on there, the polls, okay? And I know for a lot of people, especially JoJo, when you're saying that the cheerleader thing isn't working as well for you, how often do you use the poll feature? And I'm not talking about just Thrive stuff, but like, you know, my best poll feature ever was asking people if they made their beds. I had like 150 people who commented yes or no about making their bed in the morning. So sometimes you can do something just super simple in order to get people to respond. Oh, she was talking about the story peaker script where we say like to the people in the stories, are you just a cheerleader? Are you interested in learning more about Thrive? So you might just want to switch it up in order to get some more people or some different people. And I'm going to tell you one thing too that's going to help like play with your algorithm a little bit. But using the poll always helps me like switch it up and kind of see who's focusing on my stuff and who's actually like willing to respond to things by doing something simple like that. Like you could do, gosh, I think of so many things. You could do anything inside your poll, McDonald's or Burger King French fries. Like that's super basic, right? But anything like that, that would get someone to be like, oh, McDonald's has the best fries, whatever. Like, even if it's not related to Thrive, the whole point is to kind of just get eyes on you and get eyes back on your stuff, maybe outside of Thrive. And then that way you can continue to educate people on what it is and what it does, right? But maybe you're thinking in your head, and sometimes I get here too, and this is why I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited about a venture I've been taking, and I've been sharing it for a while, but I'm kind of finding a different way to go about it. But sometimes I get like, you know, the same couple people that are commenting on stuff, or the same couple people that are watching my stories that have tried it, or they're in another company. And I'm to be honest with you guys, I have no interest in finding people in other companies. It's just like too much work for me. I would rather find someone who I can just like from the get-go, here's Thrive, here's what it does, here's how our team can help you. If someone wants to join me, I will willingly take them, but I'm not going to after them if that's what, you know, you get what I mean. So one of the things that I've shared for a long time about being able to go further on social media in a faster way is groups. And groups have evolved so much, because I remember when I first started this, we were all like, join as many groups as you can and get in all the groups and do all the things inside the groups. And I think that overwhelmed people. It overwhelmed me. So I did nothing with most of the groups. So what I want to, for your homework, for maybe this weekend, when you're just like sitting down on the couch and you're like, I need something to do as far as my social media, to clean it up. Number one, go through your groups. I do it all the time. Even if you just did it, I just did it yesterday. And I was like, why am I in this group? Why am I in this group? Sometimes when you click on a group too, and like, let's say, for example, you haven't seen anything happen in the group in a while, which is one of the ones I did yesterday. And I clicked on it and the group had been archived since like 2021. So that means like basically someone doesn't want to cancel the group, but they're not actively in the group right now. So I don't need it bogging up my feed, because what happens too is when you start leaving groups that you're not really participating in, you'll start seeing the groups that you really want to see. And the big thing about social media, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, they are going to reward people who contribute. That's how it is. It's a consumer built platform, correct? We all consume things on there, but they are going to reward the people who are contributing, who are consistently posting, who are posting in groups, who are making reels. They're going to reward those people before the people that are just kind of like scrolling along, checking out. Like, that's why I'm very, very adamant about when you make a post, don't hop off the platform. Like, love on people's stuff a little bit, make your post, then love on people's stuff for like another 5 minutes. Because if you just make your post and you hop off the platform, you're just telling them that you're like, take. I'm just consuming. I just want other people to like my stuff, but I'm not going to like anybody else's, right? It is a major part to contribute inside the platform. And sometimes too, if you've seen me and you're like, well, Sid hasn't gone live in a couple of days, trust and believe, it means I'm doing something. And so I was inside a bunch of different groups and I've knocked my groups down so much. I am in a ton of groups, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I join, like, for example, I'm in a ton of like Blackstone keto groups. Why? Because when Haas goes live, I share his lives inside those groups. I'm always contributing inside of the groups that I am in. Okay. So if you look at your groups right now and you're like, I don't even know why I'm in that, then leave. There's literally 10 million groups on Facebook. 10 million. You could make your own if you want. It's a lot of work though, I'll tell you that much. We did that one time. So you can go through all the groups and just say, hey, which ones do I want to show up in? Because how many times to raise your hand, you can do it quietly, but have you joined a group and you're like, these are not my people? Okay, me too. Because some of those mom groups, I'm like, oh, we are not doing this here. You guys are way too much, dude. It's a lot, right? They're like, oh my God, you gave your kid candy? Oh, he's going to die. He's going to have black teeth. I'm like, leave them alone. They're children, Lord. So that's not your vibe, right? And think about it. Like, it's just like when we talk about our whole page in general, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, right? You might be their shot of tequila. You might be their shot of whiskey or whatever. It might be their glass of water, but not everybody's going to jive with you. So that's okay to leave those groups. Stop thinking like, I can't leave this group. Well, there's 10,000 people in it. I might find one person, but if you're not contributing because you don't like the vibe, then just leave. Because you're better off finding 2 to 5 groups, okay? Really focusing on 2 to 5 groups. Sharon, I'm going to answer your question. Don't worry. 2 to 5 groups that you can actively contribute in. Okay. And that's why I like the boy mom groups. But like I said, some of the mom groups are harsh. And so I find the ones that are a little bit more lenient. Sharon has a really good question that I want to answer too. And it says, all of my groups have rules against promoting stuff, even my stay-at-home mom groups. How do I get around that? So, oh, Charlene, I've been cleaning up my page. Yes. Okay. First Charlene, and then, sorry, Sharon. First Charlene, then I did that on my Instagram. And not that there's a problem with that, because like I follow people. Charlene's comment was, I didn't realize I followed a lot of influencers. I probably unfollowed over 200 people on my Instagram, and it's no offense, but like, I don't need every bikini model who talks about bathing suits. I don't need to be following them, right? Because it's just swamping up my feed with people that I'm not really looking to get Thrive into their hands or share my opportunity with. But then there's people like Mel Robbins. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna keep following you. Sometimes you have to do that in all aspects of your platforms, because we just get so caught up, and you'll follow somebody because there's a sale or something, or you follow somebody because they're using like a hair tool that you really want to use. And then next thing you know, you're like, it's bogging up your whole feed. So I recommend, and Heidi and I did this probably about a year ago, because she was like, Sid, my whole feed is just messed up. And we went through, we got out of some groups for her. We started participating in some groups for her, and her whole feed just totally changed. The algorithm is meant for you to play with, and it's not meant to harm you. It's meant to help you. But so many people like fear it because they just don't know the right way around it. So the other thing that Sharon was asking about was, okay, she can't do promoting stuff inside of groups. So the new thing that I'm trying to focus on and do, right, is inside of these groups, just being plain old Sydney. Plain old Sydney. What do I like to do? I like to listen to music. I like to work out. I like tacos. I like spending time with my family. And I contribute as much as I can. Introduction posts, maybe commenting on things. I ask so many questions in my boy mom group that I know the answer to majority of them, but I would like to contribute with other people. And it's nice sometimes to have other people's opinions on things. Like, how do you get a picky eater to eat? One mom was like, I cut his bologna into stars. And I was like, well, that's too much work for me. But it's nice to have other people's opinions on things, and maybe you'll get ideas, right? And maybe you'll go, oh, I'm going to add her. I'm going to add Sharb because that was a really good idea. Now, if you're doing the things on your regular page, right, on your Facebook page or, your Instagram or whatever, let's just say Facebook, you're going live consistently about the product. You're posting in your stories about the product. When you're just regular old Sydney inside the group and someone decides they want to friend you, what are they going to see on your page? What are they going to start seeing consistently on your page? You, Thrive, your life. You don't even have to promote inside the group if you can get the people out of the group and onto your page. So like one of the things I did like 2 days ago, I was just telling Jess about this, is I went inside a group. I openly let them know I'm in a network marketing company. So if you go to my page, I said, I'm definitely in a network marketing company. I don't intend on messaging you about the product because I don't. And I said, this is me looking for, other friends. And I woke up the next morning with like 40 friend requests from a bunch of moms who I also didn't know that were like an hour away from me in Michigan. I was like, oh man, they're close. But they all are going to get dripped on now. My intention is not to message them. I have enough people on my drip list, but I've already had one go in and request a sample. She just messaged me right now. She's like, I requested the sample. Because they're going and they're looking at my stories. Hey, who's this new friend I just friend requested, right? They're looking at my stories. They're seeing what I do. They're watching a live. I had one girl, it was the sweetest thing ever, made me want to cry. She posted on my page and she's like, it's so nice to see someone who's inspiring and uplifting. And she's a brand new girl who I met from the group. Like literally, we didn't even have a chance to say hello before she like watched a live. But what do I do in all my lives? Talk about Thrive. What do I do in my stories? I talk about Thrive. So you don't have to, kind of the point of the group, in my opinion, is to bring them over to your page where it is safe to promote. And I find too, when you're in the groups, like, so this is why I encourage you to, when you're going through the groups, hop out of those network marketing groups. They're so bogged down with people. And, every time I post in there, it's something like, let me help you earn $5,000 with my grandpa's bank account. It's too much. Like, it's too much. I don't have time for it. I would much rather go after people who are in my like intentional, like who I'm trying to attract into my business that way versus, oh, someone comments, and they kind of have already joined 17 businesses and they want, to join a business. They don't have to pay any money to join. Like, I don't have time for that. Most of us don't, right? We want people that actually we can help and are coachable and are going to try, right? So go through your groups, get out of all the ones that you don't need to be in, pick 2 to 5 and write them down. So y'all know I'm a Post-it junkie. So I have a Post-it note right here with the 5 groups that I actively daily participate in. And it's not every day that I make a post, but it's every day that I go in and I'll comment on someone's post, give my opinion. Inside a lot of the groups where there's like, for example, my boy mom groups, they do these like friend applications where they put down a lot of stuff about them being friends. And they specifically say on there, like, add me, right? You can go through and just add people from there. You already have some commonality with them. But then what happens is if you get them over to your page, that's where you can drip on them. And if they decide that they don't want a part of what you're doing, once they've gotten over to your page, fine. And I'm the type, listen, too, you have to grow tough skin in this business and in this life. If until they say no, or they block you, or they say something, derogatory, you just keep going. Just keep going along. If I could show you guys the messages, this girl from another company, man, she's got some tough skin. I think she's probably messaged me about 100 times in the last 2 days. It's a lot. And I was like, whoa, I did not even mean to ignore her, to be honest with you. I just had a lot of messages. So yes, perfect. Sharon, I hope that helps you too, because I know that's something that I struggled with for a long time. I would join the groups and I would make like a post about, my son's picky eating and say like, is there have any tips about picky eating, right? And someone would immediately comment, she's in network marketing, she's an MLM. Like, so what's I got to do with my son eating barbecue chips? Like, what the hell? So I just figured I will address the elephant in the room myself. When I make posts, yes, I'm in a network marketing business. It's got nothing to do with the post I'm making right now. I feel like people like that openness. And because sometimes we have to remember that whomever is saying, oh my gosh, she's in a network marketing business, right? They probably had a sister who joined a business, who didn't do crap with it, who has a bunch of product at her house and says network marketing sucks, but she never put in the work. That's what makes people scared of it, because it is a better way, 100%. Even if they're doing it for a couple extra $100 a month, like it makes no sense in my mind why people are against it. No sense. Even if it's just something on the side that they do. I think about all the time, every single day, every single person is in a sales job. You're selling to someone or for someone. Dollar Tree was a sales job, right? Anything retail is a sales job. I remember I used to have to stand behind my cashiers and make sure that they would upsell a Snickers bar. Do you know how uncomfortable that was for me? Because if they didn't, I'd be like, okay, next person, you got to sell something. What if I stood behind you all day and it's like, Rebecca, next person, you need to do Thrive now. They need to buy Thrive now, or you're fired, right? At least with this, it's open. We're not fired. We can work it as we want. But the reason people are scared of it is just because they're not educated. And if you can bring them to your page and show them that you're a real human being, you go live about real stuff, you're not puking. And I feel like this team is really good about not throwing up Thrive on their pages. They're not being super like robot, like we do other things outside of that. But then too, just remember, have your opportunities that if you were continuing to add people or people started adding you, would they be able to see what you're doing? Would they be able to look at your page and know really fast, like, oh, Sydney's a stay-at-home mom and she does Thrive. That's cool. I'll ask when I'm ready to ask about it, right? So groups, get really intentional. Don't just consume, contribute. Try to contribute as much as you can. Maybe set an alarm in your phone like once a day in the afternoon and say, hey, Siri, remind me to contribute in groups. So that at 4:00, if you haven't gone inside of a group, I honestly, I wish I could do like a little, I was thinking about it yesterday after I got all those friend requests. I wish I could sort my friends and show you guys how many friends I've gotten from groups. Because I would say it's probably a good 50 to 60% of my friends right now came from groups. Because I just feel like it's a lot easier for me than to just add people off the suggested, because I don't know, we don't have anything in common. Like, yeah, you're a suggested friend, but I don't know, maybe we have nothing in common. At least if I add them from a commonality group, like a working out group. I even just found a group about women who love tacos. There's 10 million groups. You can find some and just go through them. Join it, see if you like it, see if it vibes with you. If it doesn't, leave, join another one. But if you have the opportunity to be inside of a group that has 60,000 people, or, like however many, even 10,000, and you're sleeping on that, that's way, way insane. You have an opportunity to blow up, and everything's not going to work the same way, right? Like I took the same post that got me 40 friend requests one time, put it in another group, and it didn't do anything. But it's all planned to review. It's all planned to review, and I'll keep doing it, and I'll keep contributing inside the groups with really basic things to get people shifted over to my main page, where I talk about, it's my page, right? I'm allowed to talk about whatever I want inside my page. So once they get there, then I can thrive. And again, like I said, I'm not interested in messaging them right off the bat about the product, because obviously I said that and I'm a person of my word. But majority of them have been like, what's this? Or clicking on my poll. Like I did on my poll yesterday, is Costco considered a workout? And I had like a couple of the moms that joined the group and they're like, yeah, definitely every single time, because my husband's not with me and the water's so freaking heavy. And it all starts conversations with people. And what happens in conversations turns into commissions. That's Fraser Book's famous saying, conversations before commission, because it is important. And think about it too. You really get to know somebody on here. That could be your next 12K, your next 200K. That could be your next business bestie. So I hope that you guys found this valuable, and I hope that you don't sleep on groups. If you're somebody that's scrolling through your Facebook and maybe you're just bored of your own Facebook page, like I get it. Switch up your algorithm though. Go through, start unfollowing some people that are not bringing you purpose or inspiration. or that you're interested in dripping on, get out of some groups. You know, I want to say this with a grain of salt, maybe unfollow some thrivers. I know it's hard, but I can't tell you guys, I have like 200 friend requests. I'm sure Jess and Haas can say the same thing, of like thrivers we'd meet along the way on the trips and stuff. And it's nothing personal, but my page is public. So if you want to see stuff, you can see it that way. We don't need to be friends. Because that space is for people that I'm trying to share our opportunity and our product with. So sometimes you just got to go through and give yourself a nice clean audit and start over. Maybe you're leaving all the Facebook groups, right? Don't leave the Team Hustle page though, okay? Or the customer page. But maybe you're leaving all the dumb groups that you were ever in because they've never brought you anything and you've tried and they just haven't worked. Leave them and start over. And go into groups and just type in groups. Heck, you can go to someone's page now and see what groups they're in. Because maybe you're like, oh, I really like this person and they're in this group and that group. Let me go join that group. There's everything you can possibly think of. I'm in a golden doodle group. I don't even know how I got in a Dalmatian group. I left that yesterday because I was like, what am I doing in a Dalmatian group? Number one, I don't need another dog. Number two, I like Dalmatians though. So I don't even know how I ended up there. But I mean, there's just everything. Anything you can possibly think of. You just have to find them. And that might be like your tribe of people that you might find. So try it out and think to yourself, how can I contribute to it today? How can I be more of a contributor? And I promise, and I don't do that often, but as you start to do more inside the groups and more on your page, more contributing, you should see more action on your page, more action on your lives or your posts or even your DMs, because you're contributing more, you're doing more. So the platforms are going to reward you more. I do want to say, I'm going to stop the recording really quick. I